Hi, it's Monday the 18th of June 2018. Now, that date may not mean a lot to some of you, but for others, you've been marking off the days waiting until England takes their first match tonight in the 2018 World Cup. What's that got to do with business? Actually, quite a lot. Tonight's game actually is a 7 o'clock kickoff, so doesn't really impact on work at all. However, you may have a few staff with hangovers tomorrow morning. And what I want to do here is just give you a couple of tips for dealing with games while at work and the morning after the night before. The first thing to remember is not everybody in your office is going to support England. So you need to be quite mindful of that. Either because they just don't support England or they don't think England have got a particularly good chance of winning, or because actually they're not English themselves and they support a home team. One of the things that as an employer you need to do is that make sure that nobody in your office is subject to any bullying or harassment because of the team that they support. Now, it may seem really trivial, but if you've got somebody in your office that is from Tunisia or whose parents are from Tunisia, and they're playing England tonight, that can be a really difficult dynamic to deal with. As an employer, you have a duty of care towards all of your staff, and that does extend to making sure that they're not bullied because of the football team that they support, especially when it comes to the World Cup, because actually what you can end up with is a discrimination claim against you because of nationality or harassment because of somebody's nationality. Lots of different things to think about. So the first thing to do is to talk to your staff while you're encouraging everybody to get involved, to appreciate the football. Sporting is an amazing opportunity to bring people together. They and you need to just be mindful of respecting people regardless of where they're from or what teams they follow. So the next thing is whether or not you're going to allow them to have TVs on in the office. Now, some companies will say, right, if it's an England game playing, we'll have a TV on. If you want to watch it, take your lunch break during the match, or go down to the local pub or whatever it is. But again, you need to be mindful of the fact that some people aren't going to be supporting England. So you need to make provisions that apply for anybody, regardless of the team that they support, to enable people who want to watch the match to do so in a way that minimises the impact on the working day. I would say stick to your rules. Most companies have a rule where people aren't allowed to attend work under the influence of drug and alcohol. That's fine, and if people go to the pub to watch a game at lunchtime or to watch the second half or whatever it is, then they need to make sure that they come back to work sober, because if they don't, then your company disciplinary policy applies and you have an absolute right to enforce that regardless of the reasons for people having gone out. If you decide to bring pizza and drinks or whatever it is into the office to celebrate, then again you just need to be mindful of the fact that not everybody drinks, not everybody is going to want to be following the football, and there are some people who just don't want to know. Again, don't make those people feel marginalised because of the football match that's on. So what do you do if people just don't turn up to work? Well, again, you need to follow your own company policies and procedures. If they've booked the day off, that's great. But actually, you're not obliged to give them the day off. So if you have a whole department of 5 people that book time off to watch the football, you have the absolute right to say no. And if people still take that time off and you believe that it's not a legitimate sickness absence, then again, you've got the right, with a back to work interview, with an investigation process, to actually discipline them for absent without permission, if that's the route you want to go down. My one bit of advice is to be consistent. Whatever you do, whatever you apply for one person needs to be applied for everybody. So you can't treat men differently to women, you can't treat young different to old, you can't treat Tunisians different to British, different to the Dutch or the Germans in your office environment. Okay? Whether England will get through to the quarterfinals, the semi-finals, or even the finals, I'm not going to say it, but I doubt they will. But even if they do, World Cup fever is only going to escalate over the next few weeks. And as an employer, you need to make sure that you are still able to run your business, that your business is running effectively, and that your staff know what they are and aren't allowed to do. Consistency, communication are absolutely key here. Whatever the outcome, have an amazing 2018 World Cup.